Hey 49ers fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into our weekly San Francisco 49ers rumors and report video here on Chat Sports. And we have, post-draft, you don't think a lot's going on, a ton of stuff to get into here in terms of the San Francisco 49ers. So let's go ahead and jump right in, starting with Nick Bosa. And were the 49ers really ever worried about that whole tweeting scandal that we saw pop up for the Ohio State defensive end right before the draft? Now remember, if you forgot or you did not know the story, Nick Bosa, the Ohio State defensive end, who we took at number 2 overall, deleted a bunch of his controversial tweets prior to the NFL draft. Now again, the Niners took him at number 2 overall instead of taking Alabama's Quinnen Williams, and the 49ers, they did come out and say after the draft that they did ask Nick Bosa about the pre-draft tweets. Now again, if you're wondering what was on the tweets, always Google it, you can look it up. There's some pro-Trump stuff, some people said some controversial things, and he retweeted them. So again, if you're curious on what the tweets said, look them up. There are websites with all the tweets there, and you can kind of judge for yourself whether you thought they were controversial or not. But apparently the Niners were not concerned at all. I got a quote here, we'll throw it up on the screen. 49ers president said, when asked if he was concerned about the tweets, said, quote, "Not at all. It doesn't mean we didn't do background on the kid. Doesn't mean we didn't bring it up and ask him the questions. But look, if we're going to get in a world where we're not drafting Republicans and we're not drafting Democrats, that way I think about it is he's a young kid. He had a perspective. That perspective is fine. Some other stuff he did, I think, was a little insensitive and needs to learn from." Now, the 49ers defensive line, regardless of whether you think Nick Bosa's tweets were controversial or not, as you see in front of you right now, it's stacked. The starting four: Bosa, Armstead, DeForest Buckner, D Ford. We said this was a major concern going into free agency in the NFL draft. Coming out of the NFL draft with the additions of D Ford via the trade, drafting Nick Bosa, the defensive line in general is going to be absolutely stacked. And of course, Richard Sherman was quoted saying that one thing about football is no one really cares what you say if you can play, and talking about Nick Bosa, and Vegas now has him as the best odds to win Defensive Player of the Year. I don't have a problem with this, Defensive Rookie of the Year, I should say. The tweets, to me, again, look them up and grade for yourselves how controversial they were. They were not as bad as I think a lot of people scoped them out to be. Again, Google them, look them up, you can figure out for yourselves. But overall, the Niners seem very, very comfortable with drafting Nick Bosa and very excited about having Nick Bosa on their squad. So the question for you guys, do you have any problem with the 49ers drafting Nick Bosa from a character standpoint, not from a X's and O's standpoint? I think we all agree he's going to be a great, great pass rusher, but from a character standpoint, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Next rumor, could there be a future KUPP joining the San Francisco 49ers? So remember how in the division, the Rams wide receiver Cooper KUPP, he's pretty good. He's burnt us a couple of times, injured last year, but apparently he has a younger brother named Kentner KUPP, who plays linebacker at Eastern Washington. The Niners have invited Kentner to be at their minicamp tryout this past weekend. We don't have any reports on how well he did or not, but the profile we'll pull up here right now on the younger brother of Cooper KUPP is 6 foot 225. Checked off the box there. That looks good. 152 career tackles, 2.5 sacks in 33 games there at Eastern Washington. So it's kind of fun to see if this guy could make the team or not. It'd be a younger brother of a guy in the division. Of course, the 49ers linebacker depth chart right now, Fred Warner, Quan Alexander, Malcolm Smith. So if he did make the squad, we'll go down the depth chart there. You guys all know that. He'll be a special teams guy, but hey, Eastern Washington trying to make an NFL squad. Let's all go ahead and wish Kentner KUPP good luck trying to get on the San Francisco 49ers. This next rumor, this next news bit is more of a question for you guys, and I always read all the comments, I always say that. I want to gauge your guys' thoughts on the 49ers, I guess, addressing the secondary or not in the NFL draft. So remember, we say this all the time on this show, the Niners had the worst ranked pass defense according to Pro Football Focus last year. The worst, right? Not the 20th, the 25th, the worst. And of course, they did reportedly, this is the new news today, is that they did try and sign Earl Thomas to a long-term deal until he went ahead and signed with the Baltimore Ravens. So, at least they tried. In terms of the draft, Tim Harris in the 6th round is the only cornerback that you guys really wanted to go ahead and draft if you're the 49ers. And so I'm sitting here going, here's the depth chart, right? It's Sherman and Barrett, and they got the safety Jimmy Ward and Tart as well. And the nickel should be Quinnen Williams. did it improve? Like, did it get better at all? And that's my question kind of for you guys. Are you still concerned about the Niners secondary this year? Now, I mentioned Eric Berry, Trey Boston, two safeties that are still out there. If I'm the 49ers, why have we not called Eric Berry, or especially my favorite, Trey Boston, 25 years old, 3 interceptions last year, kind of a one-year deal with Arizona after a one-year deal with the Chargers. I think they need to make another move. Because to me, I look at this right here, and this depth chart, this secondary is still very torchable, even if Sherman is 100% at his age. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out to you guys. Gauge the crowd, if you know what I'm saying. Did we do enough in the secondary? Your thoughts, go down below, write them, I read them, I react to them. That's how it works here at Chat Sports overall. This next story was the big concerning one for me. Trouble at the top. Are Shanahan and Lynch not getting along? So if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a Bleacher Report article that was released right around draft time saying there is growing friction between the coach and GM of the San Francisco 49ers. So Bleacher Report cited that the two are, quote, not being in lockstep as far as vision. Now, Lynch and Shanahan did sign 6-year contracts in 2017, so they're kind of tied together at the hip so far going forward. So this one came out, I read the whole article, and it's like, whoa, the Niners not on the same page. Now, we'll get into their reaction to it, but for me, this article actually, I think I know kind of the inside details of this because I have a well-placed source there, and he said that the Niners coaching staff and the Niners GM and kind of front office guys were torn on the number 2 overall pick. So some of them wanted Quinnen Williams, a lot of them wanted Quinnen Williams, and some wanted Nick Bosa. They couldn't agree on it, and so they finally decided to go with Nick Bosa. I think that's what the Bleacher Report article is mentioning here, kind of not saying it, but saying it overall. Shanahan wanted one of them, and Lynch wanted the other, and they probably argued about it for a while amongst themselves until finally one of them won. Now, whether Shanahan wanted Bosa or whether Lynch wanted Quinnen, we don't really know. But I think that's what the article could be mentioning here. Now, NBC Sports did get a response from Kyle Shanahan. He said that the story was, quote, complete bull blank. And then I believe John Lynch told The Athletic, quote, I think Kyle probably summed it up best as succinctly as you can, whether when he responded, quote, complete BS, I would just add complete and utter to the front of complete BS. So both of them are denying it. It seems to be fine, but still, when a Bleacher Report article like this hits, you kind of stop and go, well, it's not totally made up. They obviously have some well-sourced stuff going on here. I think it was the number 2 overall pick, Bosa versus Williams. Take it as you will. That's just what I heard from one of my sources. So overall, are you guys concerned at all about these two? And if you had to pick which one's seat was hotter, if we had to get rid of one, who would it be? Type K down below for Kyle and J down below for John. I'm curious again. We got a lot of good questions we're posing to you guys today. Comments are going to be exciting. I'm going to be scrolling down and reading those as I always do. Moving on in our rumor tree here. The last big one, this DeForest Buckner news and the whole contract negotiations that apparently have kind of fell through between the Niners and DeForest Buckner. So Ian Rappaport of the NFL.com was reporting that the Niners and Buckner had been in contract extensions for the past couple of weeks. Of course, the 49ers picked up DeForest Buckner's 5th-year option on his deal in April, so he's kind of looking for that new deal. He's a young guy. He's only like 25 years old. The report is Buckner might hold out of 49ers training camp until he gets a new deal, because the contract talks apparently, I think they stalled a couple days ago, is what I was reading, is that they have kind of walked away from each other. So he's going to play. He will be a 49er this year, but the Aaron Donald holdout type situation brewing for Eric Armstead. The profile here, this screams pay him, right? 25 years old, 12 sacks last year, 6th most pressures in the NFL. Listen, I know that the whole, money is always a weird issue, and extending people is always kind of iffy. The Niners have like $33 million in cap space. Go and re-sign DeForest Buckner. Make him happy. The defensive line is going to be so good with Buckner and Bosa and Ford. I cannot wait. Just go ahead and get it done. That's all I'm saying. Get it done. Finally, a couple of roster moves here for the 49ers. They signed the linebacker Leroy Reynolds to a 1-year deal. They signed the running back Austin Walter to a 3-year deal. They waived the defensive lineman Ryan Delaire and claimed the offensive lineman Willie Beavers off of waivers from Chicago, and finally waived the running back Matthew Days. So a couple of quick little roster moves there. Fill in holes, fill in practice squad spots, fill in depth chart, 3rd, 4th, 5th strings, however you want to see it. But just want to update you guys on what is going on in the entire world of the San Francisco 49ers. Boy, you would think post-draft, not a lot to talk about. It's the NFL. Always something to talk about here on our 49ers report. And of course, on Chat Sports, go ahead and subscribe to the channel for Chat Sports again. I'm Thomas Mott signing off. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day.